Good Wednesday morning to everyone. Welcome back. You're watching the Kaiser Report one more time. We were going to come to you live today, but we have some equipment problems that prevented that. So we're going to do this broadcast as normal and let you know about some of the things that are going on with crazy Joe Biden. The hearings, the Senate hearings for certification of the cabinet picks had started yesterday with Pete Hegseth, and it went okay in my book. I think he took a very good stance on answering the questions that were put forward to him and did a good job at that. We have some real terrible people on the Democratic side of the Senate, and it showed yesterday in spades on how ugly they can be towards someone who is a decorated hero from two or more war fronts that he was accosted by people who have no idea what it's like in the military or even a thought of ever serving in the military. And then we have Blumenthal, who had the audacity after his lie about being in the Vietnam War and got caught at it, was just out and out disgraceful what he had to say to Pete yesterday. They have Pam Bondi coming in today for her review, and I'm sure they will just try to do the ugliness that they portrayed yesterday against this woman, and I think they're biting off more than they planned for, because this is a very sharp and well-versed person, and also, in my mind, probably one of the best picks for that particular slot that Trump could have come up with. So the media tends to bang the drums, especially over at MSNBC, about the convicted felon and blah, blah, blah. And they're just not going to get it until they get it. And then I watched this morning this nonsense at The View that's going on with regard to more lies and innuendos. Have they not been sued enough? That show is a disgrace. We'll take a look at this.
It is what it is right now. They took the time they needed, and they took 3 years to do it to make sure they had what they needed. Mm-hmm. What I don't see is that he cannot be tried again.
Bruh.
Well, there is double jeopardy, and they did dismiss the case, and so I think it would be very unlikely that he would be tried again.
But didn't they dismiss it
without prejudice?
Without prejudice?
I'm not sure. Can somebody tell me in my ear?
Somebody can check that.
He also will be 82 when he leaves office. I think that there is a day in the future where we won't talk about Donald Trump every single day,
and
tomorrow,
he can
go off into the sunset.
But you know,
age doesn't protect you from the law.
No, I know, but do you think it'd be good for the country if after he leaves office after 4 years,
you know what?
Now we do a 4-year trial?
Yeah, I would like to see it.
You know why I think it would not be a bad idea?
Here we go.
Is because a lot of young people have no idea how the law is supposed to work.
That's right.
And I think it's important, just like when they say, you know, and I don't want to make this comparison because I don't want to be accused of calling him this, but there are things where, you know, we say statute of limitations should not sit here. We should not have a statute of limitations. When somebody breaks the law like this, there should not be a statute of limitations.
You are right. They dismissed it without prejudice, which means they can bring it again.
So,
These people are crazy. These people are crazy.
I'm over it.
you may be over it, but you know what?
I'm just over Trump consuming all of our lives constantly. We're going to have 4 years ahead.
Unfortunately, this is what drives people. This is what drives people on television. This is what drives people on the internet. When you see his name, people go directly to him because he has become an addiction.
Yeah, some people are addicted to it.
He is
Yeah, you.
Well, you are right. They dismissed it without prejudice,
yes.
which means they can bring it again. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Come on, Davey. Please turn that shit down.
It's incredible that they maintain a position on the airwaves of an FCC-controlled product that is out and out detrimental to the well-being of most of the citizens that tune into it and don't realize that they're being duped, lied to, and misinformed about a great number of things by a panel of women who do not have any right in the world to say the things that they say because they do not know what they're talking about. They twist things, they twist the news, and they continue to twist more and more as the day goes on. This show needs to be canceled, and why it hasn't been canceled by the parent network is beyond any reasoning in my mind. So we'll see what happens with Pam Bondi today, and for some reason they have delayed Tulsi Gabbard's interview process, and I'd love to know what that's about, but they haven't announced that yet today, and we'll see where that's going. But it's Wednesday. We're strapping on for Monday when the inauguration will take place. Joe Biden is trying in the 11th hour again to throw more roadblocks in the way of the incoming administration, which he promised to go ahead and have a smooth transition with, and then decided to put all these blocks in place and spend another $500 million in the Ukraine. So we don't know what's going to end up here, but it's not looking good for any of us at this point if we have to sit with these decisions that are being made by an outgoing president who has dementia so badly that he can't even read from a teleprompter correctly anymore. And if he is making these decisions, well, that leaves a lot to be desired. I also read this morning, whether or not it's true, I can't tell you that because it hasn't been verified by me here, but they're saying now that there's trouble in River City between Barack and Michelle Obama, and this is why she's not showing up for certain things such as the Carter funeral and now the inauguration, which he will be present for. So we don't know what's going on with Big Mike, but it's rumored that she's promoting her new book and she's spending more and more time alone by herself, and they're not together as they once were. But whether or not that is verifiable is a question right now on my mind. So we're going to be changing some equipment here in the next day or two to upgrade our system so we can bring you a little bit better quality in our broadcast. And we'll ask you to bear with us. If we miss a day or two, it's only because the equipment is down. But I'll use this camera to at least get something out to you during those times. And again, I haven't spoken to my friend, the air traffic controller, about tomorrow or Friday, what's good for him. But if not capable of doing it this week, we will bring that to you next week, one day. So we're looking forward to letting you hear about what the ATC knows about drones, how drones are handled by the ATC, and so on. And not only was he an air traffic controller here in the Tri-Cities and several other areas, but in the Navy, he was also an air traffic controller for guys like us that went around flying off of boats. So he has a lot of knowledge in this, and I'm looking forward to having you listen to him. And we'll have more and more content coming your way during 2025, as I told you, with more interviews and talks with people that are in the know and understand real life, not some of these talking heads like Morning Joe that have no idea what real life is because they haven't lived it for so long. They're in a pampered group, overpaid to a point where it's disgusting, and then spend their entire life spinning lies to make you believe that your choices are not important. It's what they tell you that you should pay attention to. So we have that going for us. Let's see if there's anything else we need to talk about today. I believe that the news will be consumed again today by the fires that are now hitting Ventura County out there, and being brought into somewhat control, but they have a difficult time right now, and we need to realize that the suffering people in Southern California have had enough now, and they're calling for a recall for their governor, and hopefully that'll take place. And I believe that his bid for running for president in the next election have probably had water spilled on that, because that should not happen, not based on how he's handled what's going on right now, which brings me to the fact that we have a vice president that is still the vice president of this country, who lives there in the areas that are affected by the fire, and has not opened her mouth until yesterday and came out with a word salad that meant absolutely nothing to anyone who has experienced what they have experienced. I'm going to try to find that on our network today to see if I can't put that in here at the end of this video for you to watch. But it's ridiculous, the word salad, and the fact that she doesn't care about her own state and the population of people that are neighbors to her, to actually sit down and talk to these people or help them out in any way, shape, or form. And this is why we made the right decision in this election, this past election, because she would have treated the rest of the country the way she's treating her own state right now, which is terrible.
But Kamala's verbal shrapnel still hit California. The Veep offering some word salads of comfort to the state's wildfire victims while urging them to be patient during the crisis.
There is still so much work that firefighters, police officers, FEMA, and others are doing that is about search and rescue. It's critically important that, to the extent you can find anything that gives you an ability to be patient in this extremely dangerous and unprecedented crisis, that you do.
Sore loser Kamala has blown off years of tradition, declining to invite J.D. Vance and his family for a courtesy visit to the VP's residence before they move in. This is profoundly asinine. I mean, she said some really stupid things, but telling people whose homes burned down to be patient, going back to what I said in the B block, no leader has stepped up.
Yeah.
She wants to run for governor of California.
Yeah, so there's no time like the president. Like she always fails to take an opportunity, like on the immigration czar, for example. But in this case, she could have said, Joe, I got to go.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. I've got to figure out a way and go there and say, Gavin, what do you need? Karen, shut up. I got something over here. And organize everything. There was that article in the New York Times today by Amy Chozick in which she said, you think about General Honore who went in at Katrina?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, he started cursing and telling people what to do. And everyone was like, thank you. Okay. Like you needed somebody who is calm in a crisis and competent and good in a crisis. And she is somebody who I just don't understand how you can be in politics for that long and not be able to not flub 3 sentences and put them together. As to the not inviting J.D. Vance, it's interesting because in the A block, we talk about Pete Hegseth, who didn't meet with all the Democratic senators, met with Senator Reid on the Wednesday. But apparently, I just found out that they just didn't hear back from several of them, and Hirono refused to meet with them. So maybe there's other parts of that. But when it comes to this, the best way to deal with your own heartache and your own heartbreak, and I think she's going through a lot. She basically took to her bed for 8 weeks after the election, is to reach out and do something nice for somebody else. It's scientifically proven.
True.
If you do something nice for someone else, it makes you feel better.
This is why I feel great all the time.
Invite J.D. Vance and his wife and the children, and also, who isn't charmed by children? Well,
So with that, it's Wednesday. We have a beautiful sunny day here, but it will be hard pressed to get above 32 degrees. So we'll be out and about a little bit today to get some errands run and maybe visit a barber shop. But we wish you all a great Wednesday. Stay calm through all of this firestorm that's going on, no pun intended. There's a firestorm in Washington led by arsonists called senators on the Democratic side of the aisle that are just never going to get over losing this election, and the picks that were made of people who are not DEI that have the wherewithal to come into a job with the prior experience as our founding fathers set it up to be, not career politicians that will come in and do the job needed to get this country back on track and prosperous and well one more time. And the fact that we're going to close that southern border and stop the illegal migration into this country of people that we have no idea who they are, where they come from, and what they are up to will be great. So we're looking forward to Monday. If you have an opportunity to have a Trump party on Monday, you ought to do that, because there is the turning point that we are looking for. When they talked about during the election, the other side turning a page, well, I'll tell you what, they didn't turn the page quick enough. We need to watch Monday when the page turns once and for all and gets us back to America, that shining light on the top of a hill. So until tomorrow, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for your commentary, news bits, and travel around Appalachia. God bless you all. Bye-bye now.